So I take it there's no ballads in your show at all. You like that up-tempo stuff, right?
I'm a rock and roll freak. Keep them going. Keep them going. Yeah, that's it. No, we don't do any laid-back songs in our show, so I figure, why should I do any now? It's noon. People should be awake, right?
Paul Revere is here, KISW, for Electric Lunch. You picked out the Rascals song. Anything you remember especially about that one?
No. Well, I just remember touring with them, and when that song first came out. In the very early years, a lot of people probably don't remember this, but we got very hot when we were on the show called Where the Action Is, and we wore these Revolutionary War costumes, which we still wear, and so it was kind of the thing was happening, right? The Raiders were wearing the colonial costumes, so when the Young Rascals came out, their managers thought it'd be a great idea to have them in costumes. So those poor devils had these little cut-off knickers with their knees hanging out, and it was the dumbest costumes I ever saw. And they hated it. And then after they had a couple of hit records under their belt, then they got rid of their silly costumes. But they were stuck with some really silly. I think had we wore knickers with our knees hanging out, we'd have got rid of our costumes too. But our costumes, they cover our whole leg, so we keep warm.
You played the Kinks, too. What do you remember about that Kinks song?
I like the Kinks stuff. You know, I call all that stuff junk rock. You know, anything that's got 3 chords in it is my kind of thing, you know. So Kinks, their early hits, fell right on the heels of Louie and Just Like Me and Steppin' Out. And the stuff that we were doing and the stuff the Kinks were doing was very similar at that time. And even to this day when we do live concerts, Just Like Me still works. So that real basic rock and roll stuff out of the early 60s is probably just as strong today as it ever was.
You were one of the first groups, Paul Revere and the Raiders, to really understand what TV was all about. And I mean, you had your own show. You worked with Dick Clark a lot. You were always on American Bandstand. What do you remember about those days working with Dick Clark?
Oh, lots of things. First of all, being on TV, that whole thing was an accident. And that's another story. It would take too long to go into. But anyway, we got on the show Where the Action Is, which was on every afternoon, right? Just when kids got out of school, they could run home and they could catch that show. It was only a half-hour show. It was black and white. And it was on 5 days a week, and it just took off immediately. And we wasn't really prepared for it. When the TV show came out, when you film it, we were filming it on the beach in different places, and there'd be maybe 50, 60, maybe 100 people around watching you film the show. And you always had it in your mind that that's really all the people that saw it, was those people that were watching you film it. And you didn't have any idea that there was millions of people clear across the United States watching that show. And the fan mail started coming in a couple of weeks after we'd been on the show, and they started bringing it in truckloads. And it was a room about the size we're in right now was completely full of fan mail. And we were not ready for it. We couldn't believe that this was happening. And it just... The power of television is so unbelievable. It's like the Monkees phenomenon that's happening when MTV started running the reruns of the old Monkees show. It was done as a put-on. It was a lark. It was like, okay, let's be campy and let's run one of these dumb TV shows from the 60s. Let's run this monkey show. And they started running it as a joke, and it took off. And so it's not a joke now. All of a sudden, it's hot. So the power of television is just unbelievable. It's just incredible.
You got a video coming out. We want to talk about your appearances this weekend at the car show. We'll do that in 3 minutes. Let me take care of some business, okay?
Okay.
Of course you need a stereo.
And you're looking for quality.
Send your